Jr. I'm joined by Forrest Lee, and as often happens, we have the two Michael Amoses with us from their respective beach houses. Mike Amos is at Panama City Beach, and his son Michael Amos is wearing a hat this morning, is at Grayton Beach. Good morning, everybody.
Morning. He's almost nice and pretty face, but I like a good-looking hat.
Remember when back in the heyday of COVID, I wore a hat every day for about 2 months because I couldn't get a haircut, and my hair.
Oh yeah, I know it. I remember it well.
I looked like the Beatles in 1969.
I don't look good in a hat. It's too big.
At least you're, yeah. Bill's actually blessed with good hair. He's kind of got like the Reeves family. I always say they have great hair. John Reeves and Jason, all those guys. So you're blessed with hair at least.
Yeah, that is.
I think we need to get a call in to sisters today and see if they're going to have a buffet. You know, the governor has approved to go back to buffets, so I'm sure there's a few places around Troy that are glad to see it.
Boy,
yeah,
Bill.
You got a lot of them in Troy. KFC has a buffet too. I forget about them sometimes.
Yeah, that's right.
Hallelujah. Let's dance a little two-step. Joyous days. We can go through the all-you-can-eat buffet, Michael, at Sisters.
Well, we don't know if they've gone to it yet, but I know their meat and three was awfully good too.
Well, that's true. The food was the same, either buffet or served at your table, but I miss a buffet where you can get 3 or 4 vegetables and you can go back and get seconds. And it's important to these restaurants because they can serve more customers, which helps their bottom line. So I thank you to the powers that be for letting us do this again.
I'm looking out over the sunrise here on the Gulf of Mexico. The sunrise is beautiful. It is bright and shiny out there now. The waves are moderate and looks like another great day in paradise. The beaches of the Gulf of Mexico here in Panama City Beach.
Yeah, this show is sponsored by the Panama City Beach Chamber of Commerce and the Walton County Beach Chamber of Commerce. Right. So we want to thank them today.
We've got fog advisories here in Troy, in Pike County. There's a lot of fog out.
Well, Forrest, tell us what news you found. I mean, the big news I saw involved the quarterback for Georgia, who, as it turns out, was never the quarterback for Georgia.
Yeah, that's crazy news.
He transferred and opting out, and I guess that means J.T. Daniels, the transfer from Southern Cal, is probably the heir apparent quarterback at Georgia.
That's a pretty good fallback plan right there.
So he opted out.
Do you think when J.T. Daniels got eligible that he realized he couldn't beat him out and decided to
Who knows?
Not play his senior year and get ready for the NFL draft? I tell you what, you got to think he got beat out. That's the only reason this late in the game you go ahead and decide you're going to opt out.
I think so. You know, it's the Bill Rice jinx too. Yesterday I touted him as a possible Heisman Trophy candidate per Mike's football magazine. Talked about what a great double threat he was, how big and strong he was, and I bought into the hype, and then the next day he's gone. So disregard that statement from yesterday.
Well, on the collegiate level at the University of Louisiana Monroe, the defensive coordinator, Mike Collins, has resigned abruptly, and they're 10 days away from playing Army, and there was no explanation, so he said it was time to leave. He couldn't give it his all.
Yeah, it sounds like Louisiana Monroe's got a lot of issues with their football program right now. I mean, they apparently had a lot of COVID issues and have missed a lot of practices. And then a defense coordinator that played there and coached there before, coached at LSU under Saban, I read, 59-year-old coach decides to step away right before the Army game. I mean, that's a very strange situation.
Yeah. Plus, college football hits tonight big. You got UAB and Central Arkansas are playing. Southern Miss, South Alabama. Charles Henderson's playing tonight versus.
Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah.
We're playing
Greenville,
and then Eufaula travels to Robert E. Lee tonight and plays.
Well,
I
Charles.
want you to take Maggie and Jackson out to the game tonight. Take Maggie and Jackson out to the game tonight.
Okay.
It'll be fun.
You gotta buy your tickets online.
Well, there you
By
go.
the way, how do y'all like y'all's eggs? Scrambled or overnight?
Scrambled.
How y'all like y'all's eggs? I'm in the kitchen scrambling eggs right now, drinking hot coffee and looking out over the government.
I want 3 scrambled eggs. Do you put a little milk in them before you scramble them, Mike?
Oh yeah, I always add a little milk and stir them up real good on my scrambled eggs. Yeah.
I do too.
But I've never been able to fry an egg without busting it. You know what I mean? To me, frying an egg is hard to do without busting the yolk.
You know, once every blue moon, Dad would have to cook breakfast. Mom must have been really sick on those days or out of town. And he didn't. Mom scrambled the eggs, but Dad didn't know how to do that or want to do it, so he fried them. But we called them grease eggs because he always did the bacon. He always did the bacon first, and then he fried the eggs in the bacon grease. Ugh.
Yeah.
And then he did the toast. He didn't put the butter on the toast first. He just threw the bread in there, and then you had to butter it yourself.
Yeah.
And so, when he was, fired, and Mom came back, I was so happy.
It's kind of like what Andy cooking for Opie.
You're right.
Can anybody here make homemade biscuits?
No, I bet you can.
No.
Steve Kemp raised his hand.
Steve Kemp can.
Well, I'll make biscuit when you can go to Birds and get a Hardee's. I've got where
get a Hardee's too.
That's good, but Mike, I'm about to think that Birds got the best biscuits. I love their biscuits.
It's like, why make macaroni and cheese when there's no way you're gonna be able to do it better than Miss Stouffer's? So just.
That's right. And how that old jingle used to work, go. It says Kentucky Fried Chicken. If you can buy chicken like this, why cook?
They did away with their slogan, "Finger licking good," though, that they've had for forever
Yes.
because of COVID.
Yeah.
But get back to, why did you say, do you like to make biscuits? Or?
Oh, I can make them. And the best recipe that I have now is you get hard, cold butter, and you scrape it. You, what's the word? Not when you scrape it. You
Grate it?
grate it into your flour, and then knead it, and then you put a little bit of that buttermilk in it, and roll it out, cut it, and about 500 degrees, cook it for about 10 or 12 minutes till it gets golden brown.
You know who could not make biscuits at all? Ellie Mae Clampett could not make biscuits at all.
Anybody could make biscuits.
but when I was about 28 years old, my granddaddy was hosting his sister, Aunt Millie, and his sister-in-law, Aunt Dolly, for lunch. They were having biscuits and butter beans.
Mm-hmm.
I said, Granddaddy, can you show me how to make the biscuits? And so he let me. That's the first time I made biscuits when I was about 28 for Aunt Dolly and Aunt Millie. They were pretty good.
I can make.
Hey, Dad, I read where Tom Seaver, the great Mets pitcher, passed away yesterday. He had 3 Cy Youngs and won 311 games. Seaver was a great pitcher, wasn't he?
George Thomas Seaver.
How old was Tom Seaver?
75.
75.
75.
He had
much older than me.
He died with COVID. I don't know if he died of COVID, but he had dementia and he had
That Louis body.
and his family, he declined and hadn't been seen in public for the last year or so. But
When he pitched for the Mets, and he was a great pitcher for the Mets, I think that was the only team he ever played for. There was another great pitcher right next to him, but can y'all name that pitcher?
He was on the Miracle Mets. He was on the Miracle.
With the Mets.
He was on the Miracle
Y'all know who
Mets.
that
One
pitcher was.
in '69.
Vita Blue. No, I
No,
don't.
he was
The
A's.
Nolan Ryan pitched for the Mets, did he?
Nolan Ryan was other. How about 2 Hall of Famers in the same pitching rotation?
But I think, didn't Tom Seaver play for another team? He didn't play his whole career for the Mets, did he?
The
I
Reds.
thought he did.
He also played for the Reds, the Mets, the White Sox, and
I
again
thought-
the Red Sox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he got to play for a lot of teams to win 311 games.
All right,
They
let me.
were both mean. They were both mean pitchers. They threw hard, and of course, was that made the mistake to run out to the mound to get Nolan Ryan? Who was that player? Do y'all know?
Ventura? Was it Ventura?
Robin Ventura.
Yeah, Robin Ventura will tell you right now you don't go to the mound to get Nolan Ryan. He will wear you out.
Hey, I'll give you an anecdote about Nolan Ryan I'd never heard. You know, I'm a big fan of Dr. Ron Paul that ran for president, the libertarian congressman from Texas. I watched an interview with him the other day, and he talked about how he got into politics. You know, he delivered babies. He was a baby doctor, and but he won in kind of a fluke. But he said everybody in the Republican establishment was against him. And he said, I got one endorsement, and it was the most important endorsement, and that endorsement was from Nolan Ryan.
Let me read you a side note about Tom Seaver. It says in 1966, he signed a professional contract with the Atlanta Braves, who had drafted him in the first round of the secondary draft in January. The contract was voided by the commissioner, William Eckert, because his college team had played 2 exhibition games. Although Seaver did not play in those games, he was ruled ineligible to be in that particular draft. So what happened, there was a lottery between 3 teams, the Philadelphia Phillies, the Cleveland Indians, and the New York Mets. The Mets got him, and that's who signed him. But he originally was drafted by the Atlanta.
And he was
Braves.
the first overall pick, or he was?
He was the 20th pick in a supplemental draft.
He was the 20th.
But he played at Southern California, and but he was terrific. Tom. They also called him the Franchise. Was another nickname.
Yeah, I remember him. He was great. I liked the way he carried himself. And
what number did he wear?
52.
Had a strange number. You're right.
41.
41.
41. Okay. He was a great one.
And Hank Aaron said he was the toughest pitcher he's ever faced.
Hank Aaron said that?
That's what Hank Aaron had mentioned earlier.
Yeah. So. And when did Seaver first start in the major leagues? Do you know what day?
He played for 20 years, I guess.
When did it start?
Probably in the mid '60s.
Well, if he's 75, I bet he started when he was probably in his early 20s.
Well, you know, Casey Stengel coached him at one time, and also Yogi Berra coached him. Did y'all know that?
No.
Yeah, that was the Miracle Mets, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the Miracle Mets, yeah. But, of course, he was a great one, and we'll miss him. He was one of the all-time greats. I'd put him next to Bob Gibson and some of those great pitchers back then, Steve Carlton with the Phillies, you know, with a great one. Of course, you know, he was signed by Chase Riddle.
You know, Mike, I did a lot of research when I was doing my James Holzhauser Jeopardy story. He's the whiz that just completely changed the way Jeopardy was played and won so much money. It started making me think of Mavericks, who just completely dominated their sport unlike anybody else. And so I looked at all sports, and I'll give you an example of people I found. Babe Ruth, when he was hitting 40, 50, 60 home runs, who was the set number 2 home run hitter that season? It would have been somebody that had like 15 or 20 home runs.
It would have been Fox.
Lou Gehrig.
Well, no, I mean, some years, but
Jimmy Fox, or
you just look at the top home run hitters from early years of Babe Ruth, and Babe Ruth's home run totals were 3 or 4 times more. So it's just completely, he was in another league, so to speak. Wilt Chamberlain in basketball averaged 50 points a year, a game.
In one season.
And then the other years he would be in the high 40s, and then you say, well, who was second? And it would be somebody in the high 20s. Then I switched to baseball, and you say, look at ERAs, the lowest ERA in the league. And I looked at Bob Gibson one year. His ERA was like 1.1, and the second place guy was like 3.
Koufax, I bet it was Koufax, wasn't it?
Well, it depends on the year.
He retired early.
Koufax was probably the best left-handed pitcher in our day, and of course Gibson was the best right-handed pitcher probably.
Did Koufax retire when he was about 31?
Yeah, he did retire.
Yeah, he retired early. You're right. He retired early.
But you can look at, I thought it was interesting that you can look at 1 year's where the dominating performance was so much different than everybody else that was competing with him.
Yeah.
So Wilt Chamberlain, Bob Gibson, Babe Ruth were three that came to mind.
Oh yeah, no question about it. Of course, you know the player that everybody thought was the greatest hitter of all time was Ted Williams. A lot of people think, you know, and of course he spent 5 years of his life as a World War II pilot.
And Korean War.
5 years. And he, of course, he's the last man to hit 400 too. You know, he was a great hitter.
Tom Seaver.
Great.
Tom Seaver was in the United States Marine Corps. In their reserves.
And of course, you know, there were a lot of folks that went into the service and didn't play their entire career. Who was a great St. Louis Cardinal first baseman back then? Do y'all remember?
What, Stan Musial?
Stan Musial?
Yes, you got it. You win a cup of coffee from McDonald's, Mike.
I don't drink coffee.
Yeah, Mike, I'm going to Highland Home tonight Friday to watch a football game. Where could I eat at Highland Home?
It don't matter.
I'd go to the Chicken Shack myself.
No,
I'm not gonna say this name until they become an advertiser. We've been talking about it for about 10 years, or at least 8 years. I've been on the show.
If you were gonna eat in Highland Home tonight, where would you eat?
Will Pouncey's house.
In the stadium.
Coach.
No, all right, but is there? Somebody told me there's a restaurant over there. Where would y'all eat? Do you know?
I'll play. It don't matter.
It don't. Look now, y'all don't be silly. I asked for a restaurant.
It doesn't matter, Mike.
It don't matter.
It don't matter where you
Is
eat.
that the name? Is that the name of the restaurant? It don't matter.
It don't matter. Who's on first?
I
can't imagine how many people will be on that. Can't imagine how many people will be on that road today and tomorrow on 331 heading to the beach for
Well, the Ghost and Eagles travel to play Trinity. What should they expect, Bill Rice Jr.? Yuppies.
A bunch of yuppies. You know, they're not as blue blood as Montgomery Academy.
Yeah, I was wondering which one was the yuppies do. The
Montgomery Academy is the real old Cloverdale money, generally speaking.
You know, we've had kids from Troy that actually drive to Montgomery Academy every day to go to school. Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew, and from to St. James too is another, and Trinity.
Yesterday we were I was pulling into Bird Drugs, y'all, to eat breakfast, and Wright was already in there and had ordered our food. And this guy met me outside the front door of Bird's, and I wanted to know some information. I said, well, you came to the right spot. And it turned out that this guy, his name was Thomas. His name was
Paul Thomas.
His first name.
Paul
Thomas. And his daddy, Dr. Thomas, was the pastor of the First Baptist Church from the late 50s to the mid 60s. And we had a long conversation, and I told the man when we sat down to eat at Bird's that he could not have found two guys that know more about Troy than Mike Amos and Bill Rice Jr.
Well,
and he found that out in a hurry, didn't he?
Well, we ended up talking to him for an hour and a half. Fascinating, very nice man who has apparently done really well in business. But yeah, he had not been to Troy and stayed. He passed through it, but he hadn't ever stopped for about 30 years. And then he also met his two sisters. They hadn't been to Troy in a long time. So they enjoyed seeing all the changes in Troy from their childhood. You know, they moved in 1968.
You know what?
Wow.
I've got his phone number. We might call him on the phone and see how he reacted to that. He's a very nice man. Did you see the vehicle he was driving.
No.
There's never been a vehicle like that in the city of Troy. Did you see it?
No, what? Tell me about it.
Oh gosh, it was I reckon it was a Jeep, but it was the most fancy. It was the fanciest Jeep I've ever seen in my life, and it had huge wheels. And I mean, not just anybody could have a vehicle like that. Evidently, it must have had it ordered from the factory. But that was a car that he was on. And of course, like you said, I've seen been very successful in business.
Speaking of Jeeps, Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you this.
Nice segue there, Michael.
We're not having a full-fledged ticket show this week. We're going to start next week with prize money and our prize food and dinner and all kinds of things. But and it's going to be brought to you by Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram Trucks on the bypass, where they're having their inventory sale that's going to go through Monday. And it is the sale of all sales, and of course, you know already that nobody will beat a Premier deal, nobody. And we hope to have Jason on our show next week and talk more about it. But that sale goes on all the way through Monday, and I promise you, they're just tremendous deals on Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks.
Mike, you know, talking about our visit with Mr. Paul Thomas,
Yeah.
I enjoyed, we shared some George Wallace stories because he's got family from Barber County in Louisville, and so they knew the Wallaces, and we started telling George Wallace stories. And when you start telling George Wallace stories, you're almost invariably going to tell the stories about what a photographic memory he had for names. And that, you know, if he met you once, he was going to remember you for the rest of your life. And then not only that, he's probably going to know who your aunt was and uncle and your next door neighbor was. And he told a great story of a friend of his along those lines. I think the friend met George Wallace when he was 10 years old at a Morrison's in Opelika, Auburn. And then he saw him years later when he was grown. And George Wallace remembered him, remembered his name, and remembered where he was from and his family. And he also explained where George Wallace perhaps got this skill. He said it probably came from him having a childhood paper route on his bicycle where he delivered paper, took it over from his brother, and delivered papers all over Barber County. And he started memorizing everybody's name on his route. And then he started doing transmitting messages from different people on his route to other people on his route because everybody didn't have telephones back then. And so they'd ask little George, will you tell so-and-so? And he thinks that is maybe where it started. But I said, you know, that is a fascinating story because I don't know of anybody in America that name recall was greater than George Wallace.
No question about it. And
Mike, you've told the story before about and I've got a story that confirms that, reinforces that.
Yeah, I was getting gas one day. I worked for state government for 26 years, and I was down at the motor pool getting gas, and the limousine pulled up beside me, and in a minute, a guy rolled down the window, and you could hear it, and you could see him stick his head out a little bit. And it was Governor Wallace, and he said, Mike, how's Mr. Crow doing? Out of the blue, he wanted to know how my father-in-law was doing, and I said to myself, how in the world did he know who I was, you know? But I dealt with him on numerous occasions. But so he, you know, I could understand him knowing me, but all these other people, it was really amazing.
Wasn't his roommate in college Ralph White Adams?
And his best friend.
That's right.
Yeah. And he was a general in the Guard. General Adams was.
Yeah, but my dad always called him General Adams.
General Adams.
Yeah.
Just think of Troy University. There, it's loaded with military powerhouses.
That's right. And
leadership.
Well, Ralph Adams got us in onto Troy onto the campuses of lots of military bases all over the world.
Exactly right. Yeah.
And then
Exactly right.
Jack Hawkins comes, and he's a decorated Marine. And then there's just been tons of retired Marine officers that have served in leadership positions at Troy University.
Oh,
And Air Force and Army, I'm sure.
I tell you, one of the most
exactly right.
behind the scenes for a lot of people that has made a great impact on Troy University is Buddy Starling in the admissions office. He's been working for Troy for over 30 years.
I know.
And Buddy is dynamic in what he is, just a dynamic person.
Yeah, he's a leader, and we're in the same church in Sunday school class, and he's a great leader at First Methodist Church too. But yeah, Buddy is, he's like a lot. And also, another thing you've noticed is all these key people that stay with the university for so long.
Herb Reeves, good.
We've talked about it in athletics, but it's also the same in administration. So that says something about the work environment they have, that they enjoy it, or they wouldn't stay so long.
Okay, let's get with it a little bit. I was thinking about calling Paul Thomas. I've got his number here. I was wondering.
Why don't we not get off?
No, we're fine. We'll stay where we are. But his name was Paul Thomas.
I was going to mention tonight, South Alabama, Southern Miss are playing out in Vegas. Apparently, everybody's jumping on South Alabama. That line's going from 15 down to 13 and a half. So that's going to be interesting. Also, there's a line for Central Arkansas who played Austin Peay on Saturday night. They drove from Montgomery to stay in Birmingham. So they've been in Birmingham all week. And this is really good news for us, COVID. I read an article yesterday. They tested the whole entire staff and players of Central Arkansas. Every single one of them were negative after the Austin Peay game.
That is good.
I told you
there's a line in Vegas tonight on that game. Very interesting line. Central Arkansas is only a 19.5-point underdog to UAB and Birmingham tonight.
Well, I tell you what, Central Arkansas is a pretty good football team, no question about it. And of course, this is a good opening for South Alabama. It's going to get a lot of exposure from a lot of people. That game is at 7 p.m. tonight. From Birmingham,
on CBS Sports Channel. So a lot of people have CBS Sports Channel. I have it here in Grayson, but a lot of people won't be able to watch that game tonight.
The officials.
Will I be able to watch it where I am, Mike? I don't believe so.
I don't know. Are you on Direct TV? Or are you on? I can't. I'm not sure what you're on down there. If you're on Direct TV, you'd be able to get it.
I got a big old wide television. I know that.
The officials have an
game
electric
between UAB and Central Arkansas and South Alabama going up against Southern Miss. And but somebody told me that one of Southern Miss's main players has opted out. Is that right?
It was probably me that told you that. I think it was one of their top receivers. They called a lot of passes last year. Has opted out.
And again, talking to Johnny Williams about the game between Central Arkansas and Austin Peay, they tested all those players before the game, and they tested them after the game, and 0 out of around 175 players on both teams, they had 0 that they were negative.
That is huge. I think the Big Ten and the other conferences are going to look at that. I've said for a while, and I think y'all agree with me, that these first couple of weeks of games are going to say a lot about what happens with the SEC opening on the 26th. How does it go? I mean, are there any big, huge outbursts? Or so far, so good.
Well, I tell you, a big game.
You think UAB will be looking ahead to next week? Next week on Thursday night, they're at Miami.
Oh boy, that's going to be a big turnaround there, no question.
I wouldn't think they would on their first game. There's so much excitement with the first game. Plus, it's going to be on TV, right? So I would hope they aren't.
This is huge for UAB. This is huge for UAB's program. It really is.
When is their new stadium will be ready? Next year?
Next year.
Next year.
Yeah. for South Alabama is already ready, but they're playing at Southern Miss, and that's going to be a good one. But now tonight from Charles Henderson High School, from the vet here in Troy, you got Charles Henderson and Greenville going at it on live on going out to
Troy Cable?
numerous. Not just Troy Cable. Troy Cable is not putting it on. This is a state run game, and but it will be on live on Troy Cable though. It'll be live on Troy Cable tonight from the Veterans Memorial Stadium in Troy. Greenville is either the team from Montgomery Catholic is that good, or Charles Henderson is not very good. What do you think, Boris?
There again, I think when you lose as many players as you lost that were projected starters, you can't recover from that in most cases. Greenville's going to roll in here, and I think it's not going to be a good outcome for Charles Henderson simply because
They don't have the players.
their players that they've lost,
Can't overcome that.
you can't overcome that this time of year.
This big tackle, 6'7", 325-pounder or more. Are you familiar with that player?
Yes, sir, and I can't call his name. I need to get a roster of all these local. I guess the paper hadn't released any football edition of the rosters and all that. We just have to get all that information from all the local schools. But I know the young man. I just can't.
This big tackle, this
Oh, yeah.
huge tackle is transferred to Pike LeBron.
Oh, it's not just him. They got guys,
Amos,
and they got Northcutt, and they got. I can't think of that young fellow's name that you're talking about, but.
But was it Baker? Was it Baker?
No, sir. Baker's there, but there's another one.
Davenport?
Now, Davenport had an interception for an INT. Two of their running backs, Elijah Caldwell, and Aaron Greenwood, game of the week. They're two of the three people you pick for players of the game. They're just.
In fact, what he caught passes for over 130 yards in the game.
Well, going back to Charles Henderson, the players that are there, they're giving it their all, and they have their backs against the wall, and it's a pride thing for them. One day, it would surprise me, when it all comes together, they're going to probably knock some folks off. But this early in the season, I think Greenville, they'll overcome Troy simply because.
Let's look at their schedule. Does anybody have Charles Henderson's schedule the rest of the way?
I can pull it up.
I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out where there's a win the rest of the season.
Well, not next Thursday, but the next Thursday we host Andalusia in Veterans Stadium. So I'm gonna pull it.
This
could be a really, really, really tough season. It looks like.
Those are old Troy rivals, Andalusia and Greenville.
Well, Andalusia went and got that strong coach Taylor, and he went to Andalusia and has really built a program. He's done a great job there.
That's right.
People my age and are in between my age and Mike's age, we can well remember when Andalusia, at one time, didn't they win 50-something games in a row?
They won 58 regular season games under Donnie Sharp, who was their coach, and I knew Donnie pretty well when he was at Troy, and he was a great coach.
I'll tell you what, you thought Brantley would be a win for Charles Henderson. And after watching them against Lou Burns the other night, Brantley looks really good at the 1A.
Just to tell you how good they think Andalusia is going to be this year, Andalusia is 0-2, and they're still ranked in
the poll.
In the polls at 5A.
Well, they must have played good teams in those losses.
Andalusia just moved up to 5A, and Elba, Mike, has gone from 1A to 2A now. They're now 2A.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and they're ranked in 2A, ranked number 8. In fact, they played G.W. Long tonight, and G.W. Long's ranked 7th in Class 2A.
They're going to play on Thursday night?
Yeah, well, I don't know if they're gonna play on Thursday night. I hope I didn't make it sound like that, but they play tonight. I mean, not tonight, but tomorrow night. They're taking a look at some of these high school games tonight, and of course the big ones at Charles Henderson. And how you gonna be able to go to that game, right?
I think
You gotta get tickets online.
I don't understand how
How do
they
you
do.
do that?
You go to their website at troycityschools.com or .net, and then go to Charles Henderson High School and follow the links. And there's a link that you have to follow, and you download it on your phone. Then when you go to the game, you got to show your phone, and then you hit a button in front of them then you proceed into the game. But it's a very
You didn't have to pay any money.
you cannot walk up and pay money to get in the game.
I still don't understand. Why did they not move this game to Friday night? I don't understand. Why did they have they could have easily played this game on Friday night. I don't know why they didn't move it back.
They must have a reason.
Well, of course, also tonight we know this that Robert E. Lee High School of Montgomery is playing. Got a big game tonight with Opelika. Wait a minute, I messed up. Eufaula and Park Crossing are playing tonight. So that game's played at Park Crossing, the new school in.
Doesn't it say
in
Robert E.
Montgomery.
Lee? How many sports say?
But Eufaula is loaded, it looks like, and Park Crossing is always good. But I'll go ahead and pick that game. I'm going to tell you Eufaula to beat Park Crossing. Who do y'all like?
I think Park Crossing doesn't have a stadium. I think they play all their games at Crampton Bowl, don't they?
Maybe so. Yeah, they play at Crampton Bowl. I believe so. I'm gonna take Eufaula.
It says one says
Ed Rigby coming off that emotional, unbelievable win against Central Phoenix City. I mean, those guys have a short week to get ready to go play Park Crossing. Park Crossing will have a lot of athletes for sure. That will be an interesting game.
In fact, they had a quarterback either this year or last year that was really a great player. And
yeah, he went to Texas A&M, but he is in the transfer portal as well.
I thought they had somebody that's the quarterback at Louisville. I thought he was a Park Crossing kid, or is he Louisville?
Sidney Lanier had a good quarterback too. Maybe Sidney Lanier quarterback went to A&M. This guy went to Louisville.
He's a big tall kid.
I think this guy from Park Crossing might have been to Louisville.
But now this is gonna be a heck of a game. But I'm gonna take Eufaula to beat Park Crossing. And
I was gonna mention this. We never talked about baseball, but back-to-back nights, the Atlanta Braves have had some really amazing things happen for two players. You had last night against the Red Sox in Boston, Adam Duvall hit 3 home runs in a game against the Red Sox, and the Braves won. The night before, I think it's Marcel Ozuna, a guy from the Dominican, hit 3 home runs against the Red Sox. So back-to-back nights, the Braves have had a different player hit 3 home runs in a game. Yeah. I wonder how many times I've heard him mention that earlier.
Well, that was
off there.
That earlier, but that is phenomenal. That really is.
And then the other night,
and then Ozuna hit another home run last night. So that's 4 home runs in the last 2 games, and the Braves swept in Boston. So the Braves are now 22-14, and first place in the East. They're really starting to play well.
It's still hard for me to get into this, but the Braves have got a 8-game home stand right now. Tomorrow they play the Nationals in a doubleheader. Now, how can somebody go to that game, Mike, if they wanted to?
Dad, nobody can go to it. You can dress up as a
cardboard box
session or on the grounds crew, and maybe something like that. You can't go to games.
Nationals, so it's really no need to even mention it. They've got the Nationals coming in there Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
I mean, they're still real games. You want to mention that?
Yeah. But Monday, Labor Day, they'll host the Marlins. So
Dad, if you want to go watch baseball every single day, you go to the Y and you take a right and you go towards Pier Park, and Frank Brown Park has a baseball game every single day. Some traveling team coming through Florida.
I wonder, and they'll probably let you sit in the bleachers and watch those.
Oh yeah, they tons of fans there. Tons of cars.
They got rained out the other night and everything, but I'm sitting here looking at the beautiful Gulf of Mexico and looking at those sharks that you're always telling me about, Mike. I don't see a shark anywhere and haven't seen a shark anywhere.
I can honestly say I've seen 6 sharks this summer in Great Beach.
Wow.
Different occasions on the beach. They literally, one time, I would say a 6-footer, probably 7 feet offshore.
Oh my
How
gosh.
close it was. Yeah.
And guys, I've got as good a view as anybody has of the Gulf of Mexico, and I look every day with my binoculars every day trying to find a shark, and I can't find one yet.
They're out there.
But Michael Michael said, "Oh, I see a shark. I saw a shark all day today," and he said his little girl caught a shark, and she was about 3 inches tall, long.
Oh, that's Macon caught a shark in Apalachicola, where there's a lot of sharks.
Well, another big game this weekend pits Pike Liberal Arts, the Patriots, a rejuvenated, wouldn't you call them a rejuvenated Patriot team?
Yeah.
And they go at it this weekend in a big high school game, and we'll be giving you more information on that.
I mean, they will beat Cooper Academy by 50 for sure.
Yeah, you think so? Well, I know this. They've got a real good team, and Mike Elijah Caldwell, is he related to your buddy that you went to school with?
You know, I don't know. You know, I grew up with Adrian and played football, and grew up with him my whole life. I don't know, that's Adrian's his dad or his uncle or what, but I know Adrian is probably related to him, I would imagine.
On the Pee Wee team that I coached, I think there were 5 players that went and played in the SEC on one team. You remember that?
I don't know. Brian Thomas went to Georgia Tech. Richard Callahan went to Vanderbilt. I'm trying to think of some of these other players.
Sinclair Pennington?
You didn't coach Sinclair. Sinclair went to Auburn.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Sinclair went to Auburn. And then we had the kids that I thought was one of the best athletes I ever coached was the kid that went on to Jeff Davis and went after Jeff Davis to a small school, but was really good. And
Jason Rayleigh.
Jason Rayleigh, boy, he could fly. That kid could fly. And but it's amazing how many kids, and I coached some kids that had potential that didn't make it either. At the same time.
No, I can think of some.
High school. Yeah.
I can think of a couple players that were legends in Pee Wee ball, and then they never even played high school football, and you wonder what if, what happened to them.
Exactly, no question about it. And I was looking.
You want to take a short break?
Yeah, we can take a short break if Steve's up there. Thank you everybody for watching Today in LA and supporting our sponsors, and we'll be right back in 2 minutes.
Right here, right now, during the Labor Day used car sales event, you can save thousands. Now through Monday only, and only at Premier Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. If you have $29, you have a down payment for a used vehicle. That's right, $29 down, and payments as low as $99 a month. Bad credit or no credit? No problem. Take home $350 a week, and you could be approved. Yes. Don't miss your last chance for saving during the Labor Day used car sales event. Only at PremierTroy.com. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Our history is woven with the stories of those we serve. At Max, we've been a good community partner for 65 years. Max is dedicated to providing dependable financial services and to supporting our communities. We volunteer our time and share our resources. As a credit union, we've returned millions of dollars back to our members, local nonprofits, and small businesses. Max is honored to be a part of your story. We look forward to serving you for years to come.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa Know-How. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa Know-How team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
Right here, right now. It's a double dose of savings. Yes. Summer clearance event savings. Plus Labor Day savings. 2020 Wranglers start at $289 a month. 2020 Ram 1500. Save it to $17,377. The biggest selection. Better discount. Best deal. New 2020 Jeep Cherokee. Save up to $10,000. Save over $9,800 on new Jeep Grand Cherokee. Bad credit, no credit, it doesn't matter. Shop us at PremierTroy.com and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. No.
All right, we are back to Today in LA. I'm Bill Rice Jr., Forrest Lee. Michael Amos is in Grayton Beach, Florida, and then Mike Amos, his father, is at Panama City Beach, Florida. And before we went to commercial, we were asking about Charles Henderson, who they play this year, and Forrest finally found their schedule. So what did you find, Forrest?
Okay, we play Greenville tonight. Next week we're open. Then on the 18th of September, on a Thursday night, we host Andalusia. Then on the 25th, we host Williamson out of Mobile.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, Williamson.
What do
they do a schedule on that game?
They played them before, I think, in the past. And then the 2nd of October.
Might be in the area, Mike. I'm not sure.
No, Williamson's not in our area.
Okay.
Then on the 2nd of October, we go to Pike Road.
Oh.
And then...
Who by the way, beat Catholic by 30.
Yeah. And then we go to... we play Rehoboth at home.
Hey, Harrison.
And then we are at Carroll.
That's a win. That's a possible win.
Then we're at Headland.
Mm-hmm.
And then we host Brantley on October the 30th.
That's a possible win.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a tough schedule.
Yeah.
So.
I'm wondering how many games will they have to win to make the playoffs?
You have to win at least three area games.
Yeah.
Headland, Carroll, Rehoboth, Pike Road, Andalusia, and Greenville are your area games.
Yeah.
Thank you, Forrest. That's good info.
If y'all want to, right, we'll take this is as per the Dothan Eagle yesterday, and Enterprise is at Dothan. Boy, what a game that's going to be! Big rivals here, and we'll find out how good old Coach Driver had his Dothan Tigers. They're now the Dothan Wolves. Is that right?
Yeah, they've been under quarantine. They couldn't play the first 2 weeks because of COVID issues. They were supposed to open the season with Hoover, and that's why Hoover had to play Central Phoenix City at the last minute.
The head coach is named Smith Driver, is that right?
Smitty Grider, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, he was the coach at Park Crossing, and also was a coach at, and I don't know what happened to him, but what's the school over there near Auburn?
Beauregard.
So good. Yeah, Beauregard. He was also the coach at Beauregard. So everywhere, and also he was the coach at Valley of Fairfax, or Valley High School. So he's been at some pretty good schools.
Let me ask y'all a question. Are the bands marching at halftime in high school? Y'all know?
I don't know, but if they do, two of the finest marching bands and high school bands in America at Enterprise High School and at Dothan are fabulous. Both of them have over 200 members.
Wow.
But the prize, let me tell you this, they brought in this guru coach from South Florida, and he didn't have a very good year last year, but look out for Enterprise, boys. They are coming back. When the Enterprise comes out on the field, they look like the old Baltimore Colts. And also, we can be excited that not this weekend, but the next weekend, pro football starts. Isn't that right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, let's take a look at a few more high school games. Ozark Carroll, bless their hearts, has to go to Pike
Ozarks just hasn't really done much in football in the last couple of decades, really.
You know,
well, no, they won 10 games back years under Coach McDonald.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Coach McDonald
was 2 years.
Coach McDonald
2 years ago, you're
leave.
right. He did a great job.
Yeah, he decided to leave, and they brought in Patrick Watt, who won, I know, one state championship at Pickens County, and has been at several other places. He's a good coach. It's just going to take him a while to develop those players.
And let me tell you, we just saw them against a very good team from Eufaula, and Eufaula's proven it already. You know, Andalusia's lost 2 games. They're playing at Rehoboth, and Pete Harrison, our good friend, old Pike, is the head football coach there. So far, nobody has scored on Rehoboth, but look out. I'll take Andalusia to win the football game. What do you think?
Yes, Andalusia, the Bulldogs. Hooray for
What do y'all
Bulldogs.
think?
I think Rehoboth might sneak on them.
Andalusia's playing Rehoboth?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. They're in the same region.
That's the area game.
So Andalusia went up to Private. Andalusia went back to Private. They were 4A for years.
Yeah.
And I rode through Andalusia the other day and saw a few of my old buddies, and I rode over there. They got a beautiful new stadium in Andalusia. A press box looks like a college press box.
A track.
Wow.
And track, and then that
Indoor facility.
Beautiful all-weather.
Is that the brand new? Is that the brand new stadium when you turn to go to Florala that they built to the left?
That's right.
So that's the new hospital
right,
stadium. Okay.
I hope they have their Christmas City thing again this year. I missed it last year, but I said I'm going to go next year, but now I don't know if it'll take place.
Well,
Charles?
I'll tell you this. The mayor is one of my close friends, and I've known him for years, and I knew when he became mayor, you can look out because Andalusia's fixing to blossom, and they started that Christmas deal where he bought a Christmas tree that's probably 3 times larger than the Christmas tree we have on the square in Troy. They have a giant Christmas tree, and they set it up on the square where you can see it all the way down one road street about 5 miles, and then 5 miles, it's right near the, and then when you're riding into Andalusia during Christmas, all you see is Christmas galore and beautiful Christmas settings from all the way around their bypass to the downtown. And he told me that last year he felt like over 100,000 people visited his town just to see the Christmas decorations.
Yeah. Charles Citizen Middle School plays Andalusia tonight.
Oh.
In
Where's
Andalusia.
that game going to be played?
In Andalusia. Even though Charles Citizen's hosting Greenville, the middle school is traveling to Andalusia tonight to play Andalusia in middle school football.
Well, that's great. And if you're there are 2 special places to eat. One of them is a steak restaurant that they have local steak restaurant.
Mike's Steakhouse is really good.
That's right. And then they've also got that great all-you-can-eat catfish place. Let me tell you something. I love one of those. Davis Catfish House. I probably could eat 10 catfish, and so they lose money when I go there.
I heard that Sister Schubert's daughter, Christy Schubert's been real involved in that Christmas and Andalusia, all that stuff going on too. She's helped out a lot.
Yeah, well, let me tell you this a little bit before we get off this. Earl, the mayor of Andalusia.
Johnson?
What now?
Is his last name Johnson?
No, but
Yeah, that's right. Earl Johnson is his name.
yeah, Earl Johnson from Andalusia. Let me tell you a little bit about him real quick. What do you, other than athletics, what do you think has made Troy University blossom into one of the most beautiful campuses in America? What do you think that would be?
Water fountain?
Division I athletics.
Fountain. No, Mike. I said without athletics. You hit it, Forrest. It is a beautiful fountain in the middle of the Bill Graves
Park.
Not Big Graves anymore. John Lewis Hall.
All right. Let's mention that John Lewis Park there at Troy, and of course, what he did, he said, let's get rid of all these old pecan trees, and all put up the money for this new fountain that's going to have this giant Trojan statue that looks out over the park, and we're gonna shut down this driveway around the Shackford. The Bill Graves. What do you call it?
Quad.
Formerly Big Bill Graves. We call that the quad.
That's right, the quad. It's now it's now called something else. Now it's the new name is the John Lewis
Hall.
Yeah, that's right. But what I'm saying is the mayor of Andalusia, Earl. He was on our alumni board for a long time, and he after one alumni meeting, he said, "I want to show y'all something." So we walked down to the middle of the area there, the park area, and he says, "Why don't we make this a pedestrian park?" And they did, and just think how beautiful that campus is now because of it.
You know what I always heard, Mike, is that they had original plans from the architect who did Central Park, the famous landscape architect, Olmsted, I think. And
Olmsted, you're exactly right.
And they never really implemented the plans when the campus moved out to its current location. And so what we see today was part of the original vision of the Olmsteds, his landscape architect, and it was controversial at the time. But I think everybody now agrees that it was a smart, wise decision, without a doubt.
Well, a lot of people go back, and even myself, I used to pick up pecans in that area. But those old pecan trees, they've been wrapped, the storms have just destroyed most of them. So it was automatically, once they made it a pedestrian park, it was automatically became one of the most beautiful places on that campus, and it's a focal spot with that beautiful statue of the Trojan, and then just the way it just sort of brings out the rest of the campus.
You know, my kids, we like to take walks through the campus, and that's where my kids want to go. They want to go to the fountain, and they want to throw some pennies in the fountain, and it is
exactly.
It's beautiful.
And if anybody wanted to buy a brick to put in that park, put their family's name on that brick, it's easy to do. Just call Alumni Affairs at Troy at 670-3318 and say, I want to buy a brick, and they'll give you a brick, and you'll be represented in that park.
And every time I go, I look at them and think about those families, and that'll be there forever. I think that's a great way to support your school.
My name is in that park 7 times.
7 times?
I have a brick at the park. I have a brick. Rebecca has a brick. Camille has a brick.
It's just $100, but it's $100 that will last forever. I can see your great-grandchildren.
Yeah.
And this is Grandpa's brick right here.
I love it.
For the Rice. Bill Rice Jr. brick will last forever.
I'll do it. I need to do it for my family.
The reason I brought that all up is that Mayor of Andalusia had a lot to do with all of that, and he's the one that put it in the head to make that a pedestrian park, and it's just been beautiful. So, Troy's had a lot of growth over the years, but I still feel like in athletics, the next thing you've got to do for football is you've got to build some kind of indoor practice facility.
Yeah.
I mean, Troy has really got to build at least a 50-yard practice facility because, they're probably having to go to Trojan Arena when it's, severe weather and rain and stuff like that. And they've got all that practice fields everywhere near the stadium and near Trojan Arena. They have plenty of room for it. Surely DeMarcus Ware, some of these big-time alumni that played in the NFL, maybe you can get some money out of all those guys. Name it the DeMarcus Ware practice facility.
I'll tell you right now, it's going to have to be aesthetically, that word aesthetically correct, to have it. They're not going to put a thing that's going to
be an eyesore.
Clear to the beauty that's already there. That first field right out of the dressing room there might be sufficient because it's downhill from it, and you just don't want one of these ugly-looking buildings that deters the view of all that beautiful.
I think you could do it right there, Mike, on that first field, because the other lower field is big enough. We've talked on the show in the past about Troy University acquiring the National Guard Armory across the street and moving the National Guard Armory somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that's a
That would be
perfect spot for any number of things.
Yeah. Well, see, now they hope to build a alumni building there, right where the old alumni building stands right now. But like we've always said, what I think would be a fabulous thing is to buy the Armory or swap land with the Armory somewhere, and have that beautiful piece of property to make a convention center or a civic center, on the campus where they can bring in groups and house them in their hotels, in that hotel there, and it could be a great structure. And
that's funny. I know a family that owns a lot of property on Elm Street that would probably sell it to the university.
Yeah, but it's not in the right place, so I don't think.
Surely you can put an armory. Surely you can put an armory anywhere, can't you?
Yeah. Well, the Armory. Well, I said that the U.S. Army will agree on doing that, but it would be better suited for Troy University to have that property than for the Army to have it. They could have the Army could put it most anywhere,
I agree.
When is Troy University going to do the right thing and bring my bowling alley back? How in the world do we have a nice bowling alley in the state of Alabama when I was growing up and have nothing anymore? It's crazy.
Well, obviously there were not many people bowling, or they would have kept the bowling alley.
And I hear they're tearing Lee. They're going to tear down Lee Natatorium, and there won't be an Olympic-sized pool on campus either.
They were supposed to do that already. On one of my tours months ago, that I went in there, and the student workers in there said, "Oh yeah, they're going to tear it down in 3 months." And they haven't torn it down yet. I guess COVID changed the plans, and then I was told it was going to be become probably just parking.
So if you're going to teach swimming in your physical education program, I guess you're going to have to go to the rec department to teach it. I mean, there's
Isn't that pool legit, like 20 feet deep? It is so deep.
It's deep. It used to have a high dive.
Yeah.
It used to have a high dive.
Yeah, I took a diving class.
Scuba, they did
People
scuba.
took lifeguard training and scuba diving classes, and
there's no more lagoon.
when I was in PE at Charles Simpson Middle School, we had a swimming unit. And so for like 2 or 3 weeks, you would get on your bathing suits and go over to the natatorium and swim.
Candace Whitman, Coach Whitman's daughter, is posting a lot of old pictures on Facebook now.
The new pool that they built is strictly for looks because it's not real for a lot of people to swim in it because it's not very big. But like you said, the natatorium, I don't know what their plan is. Are they going to tear it down or are they going to keep it?
They're going to tear it down.
It's
in rough shape if you go in there. It is in bad state of disrepair.
Did they still have that pool open next to where the children's home used to be?
No,
That used to be
it's closed. It's closed.
No, they've already covered that up, Mike. They've covered it up.
Okay.
They haven't parked it now. I want to mention that tomorrow on our show we're going to predict some high school games. We got a good selection of high school games and then also some college games that will be played. Right now, the only college games that are out there are there's one 1-8 game against let's see, that would be not BYU. BYU's on Monday night.
Tonight you got South Alabama traveling to Southern Miss.
Yeah, and then of course you got UAB tonight too, don't you?
Yeah, hosting Central Arkansas.
That's tonight. At UAB.
There's two games tonight.
There's exposure to both these schools from Alabama, USB and South Alabama. Good exposure.
Well, you'd have had Troy. Troy probably would have played on national TV on Saturday against Lawman Road.
Yeah. I think Southern Miss, because they're playing at Southern Miss, will win this game, even though this game means a lot to Coach Williams. But I'll take Southern Miss to win this game. What do y'all think?
Well, I wish I would have jumped on the line when it was 15 points. It's gone to 13.5. I think it'll be a close game. I just think South Alabama's got too good a coaching staff and too many athletes to stay down for a consistent period of time. So I'll take Southern Miss at home, but in a 7-point, 10-point ball game.
Southern Miss.
I agree. If I was taking the points, I would take South Alabama. You're right, in the 13.5 points.
Yeah, this is a make or break year for Coach Campbell. Dad called him Coach Williams, but
I'm sorry.
Campbell's been there. And, I mean, Campbell's a really good coach. Interesting.
Did Campbell win a national championship at Central Arkansas, or did he do it?
No, he went to the playoffs several years at Central Arkansas. He won a national championship at Delta State. But the thing is, they're going to go through a walkthrough at their indoor facility at South Alabama today. They're going to get on a bus. They're going to drive to the game, which is an hour and a half from Mobile. Then after the game, they're going to get back on the bus and drive an hour and a half back. So they will not stay in a hotel. They will stay in Mobile.
That's smart. That's smart. It's not a bad bus trip, and I'm sure they have 2 or 3 buses probably just carrying the team.
This ought to be a huge rivalry game going forward. An hour and a half apart, 2 Division I programs.
Yeah.
No question about it.
I've heard that finances are so important to colleges now with the loss of revenue. And I would think that these football players spending the night in hotels the night before the game, especially at home games, which a lot of teams even let their players spend the night in hotels at home games. Don't you think that's going to start coming to an end?
I think so too. In fact, let's just say if Troy would have played Auburn, I would think that Troy would just bust over that.
I would too. Yep.
Because it's not but about an hour and 15-minute drive. And Mike knows different ways to get there, make it quicker. Another game. Of course, Eastern Kentucky playing at Marshall, and Marshall is one of the hardest places to win in the country. But Mike, Troy beat them there 2 times in a row, didn't he?
Well, they beat them two years in a row. They beat them at Marshall, and then the next year they beat them in Troy.
And Marshall still got a good program, but at one time they were really a good program.
They got the greatest. They got the greatest coach name of all time. Their head coach is named Doc Holliday.
How about that? Yeah.
And of course, they still honor the team that was killed in the plane crash.
Yeah, Bobby John Drinker from Troy was in We Are Marshall. He was one of the players on the plane and had a speaking role.
Whoa! I never knew that. Get out of town. I'm gonna have to watch it again. So it's in what part of the movie? Right in the beginning, or?
Right in the beginning. Yeah, he's one of the players.
He has a
little speaking role.
One of my favorite actors was the coach for Marshall, and I think that was his first big.
Matthew McConaughey.
What do you think?
His biggest performance before him was A Time to Kill. Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
Yeah, McConaughey, and of course he was a coach for Marshall.
He's a huge Texas Longhorn fan. That's where he went to college.
I'll take Marshall, and I'll take UAB to win the game. UAB line is what, Mike?
19.5.
I tell you what, that's going to be a pretty good football game. But UAB should, they've got their quarterback is from Mobile, Mike, and he's got a tremendous record as a starting quarterback.
Yeah, Johnston is from Spanish Fort. Played for Ben Blackman, former Troy player.
Yes, and Blackman's brother coaches here, and UAB
gets a lot of Spanish Fort players. I don't know how that's happening. The coach played at Troy, and the special teams coordinator at Troy. It seemed like the brothers would get together and send these Spanish Fort guys to Troy, so the UAB.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no question about it.
And why go to UAB when you can come to Troy that has this beautiful campus? And we've been talking about this trend of people getting out of urban areas. Do you think that could help Troy University's college if parents decide that they don't want to send their kids to inner city colleges in the future? They'd rather have them in small towns, rural areas? They might.
Well, let me tell you this, something that'll make everybody feel good, because I heard it from a good, reliable source yesterday, that the student body enrollment is not much off of what it was before the virus, Mike. It was amazing to me how they were able to hold on to a lot of these students.
Well, they probably lost all their international students, but that's good to hear. I'm surprised by that, actually.
There was a lot of upset students in Tuscaloosa.
No, Mike, I don't think they lost as many as you think.
They just never went back home?
Yeah, that's right. A lot of them just never went back.
I was about to say that. I thought they were doing a lot of travel bans, so I didn't know how that all works. What were you going to say about Tuscaloosa, Bill?
Well, there's a lot of upset parents and students about the prison that the University of Alabama's becoming. You know, all the lockdowns and draconian policies and bullying on the part of the president, and it's offending a lot of people. And some people are withdrawing their children from the University of Alabama. And so me, the former Chamber of Commerce guy at Troy, I say, all you Alabama students, come on down to the Alabama's prettiest campus and have a real college experience at Troy University.
That's right. That's right. Okay.
On Friday,
Here at Troy.
on a football correction, Eufaula plays Robert E. Lee tonight in Montgomery.
Not Park Crossing.
Who did I have them playing?
Yeah, I'm playing Park Crossing.
Well, in the paper, it says Park Crossing in one segment, but in an article it says they play R.E. Lee. I looked up both schedules. They play, Robert E. Lee will host Eufaula tonight. I looked up both schedules.
Yeah. That'd be a good one. Of course, looking at some games on down the line, we'll pick these tomorrow, but Houston Academy's at Delville. New Brockton is at Ops with that great quarterback. Providence Christian playing at Wicksburg. Slocum is at Northside Methodist. They're going to play that game at Carroll in Ozark. Doesn't that surprise you a little bit?
Yeah.
That Northside Methodist is going to play their game in Ozark. Do you think it's because
maybe they don't have a big enough stadium.
I'll make a prediction. We just mentioned all the Montgomery schools: Robert E. Lee, Jeff Davis, Sidney Lanier are the three best known. Doesn't everybody think that come next football season, every one of those schools will have a new name? They won't be called the...
I don't know. They could.
Yeah, I would think so.
Goshen's playing at Trinity, and Goshen's going to spread out a little bit. And then I'll tell you, this is the one that surprised me, but now it doesn't surprise me as much. Because I rode by there yesterday, and it's a beautiful stadium there at Zion Chapel. But Zion Chapel is going to play Abbeville, and I want to think they're going to play at a recreation field in Enterprise. Have you heard that?
It's Bates, the old high school football field, Bates
The old Bates High School. Okay,
Yeah.
I got
It's
you.
at Bates Field at the old high school.
It's been closed ever since the terrible tornado that went through there.
Right.
Interesting story out of Chicago. They're going to allow people to wager on games at Wrigley Field. Wrigley Field is going to open a sports book.
Oh man, are you serious?
You know what I think when I hear that story is they need money so bad in Chicago, and that whole city and state are already bankrupt. But any way they can get revenue for the government, they're going to do it. So there you go.
Yeah, they're going to have the same thing. The Raiders play this year as well. Of course, they're not going to allow fans to NFL games. I know the Raiders are not allowing fans, but they're going to have those at the stadium as well. Of course, you're in Vegas, so it makes sense.
Well, I tell you what, we got a good one at GW Long this Friday night, and that should be one that a lot of folks will look at. 2A GW Long going up against 2-0 Elba. Elba beat Opp which really tells me a lot right there. And that game will be played at G.W. Long's Field, so they don't seem to have a problem with spreading out there. And when I mention spreading out, that means by law they have to be 6 feet apart. Is that right?
Supposedly, yeah, allegedly. I think you can sit with your family members, or you don't have to be 6 feet apart from your wife or your children. But
I need somebody to call and find out if Sisters is going to be open with a buffet, or are they going to continue with their meat and 3 menu.
Well, I don't want to do it with we got 2 lines already.
We can't do it right now, can we?
No, but that's
you could get Steve in the back maybe to call out there.
I'll do it after the show and let us know about.
So will it be open Sunday with the famous Sunday buffet? I wonder will it be open then?
Ooh, I hope so.
That's something we find out tomorrow.
Yeah, this is a good story out of the NFL. Everybody remembers Carson Tinker, the Alabama snapper. Of course, he was in a house with his girlfriend when the horrible tornadoes came through 15th Street. Of course, I was living on 15th Street at the time, and thank goodness I'd driven to Birmingham before the tornado had hit. And, of course, he lost his girlfriend. I think he flew 50 yards in the air, and had a concussion, I think broken wrist, broken ankle, and he's played in the NFL for several years with Jacksonville Jaguars as the long snapper, but has had injuries the last couple of years. But he just got picked up by the New York Giants as their long snapper, and the coach of the Giants is a guy named Joe Judge, and he was the special teams coach at Alabama when Tinker was there. So it's all about who you know and all about connections, but hopefully Carson Tinker can make it with the Giants.
The show is brought to you by the Alabama Real Estate Connection, located on Memorial Parkway in Troy. Call them at 566-4765. Want to mention also our good friends at Bird Drugs on the corner of downtown Troy, and of course Troy Bank and Trust Company. Remember, Troy Bank and Trust Company is the only bank you'll ever need, with 13 locations throughout the area, and we appreciate them very much.
Hey, Mike, let's revisit our conversation we had with Paul Thomas yesterday. We started talking about banks in Troy, and we started talking about the Henderson family, which was involved in 2 banks, right? Here in Troy. The Henderson family, obviously, the most influential family that's maybe ever lived in Troy. But you and Paul started talking about a former Trojan that is now, we're told, living in Hawaii and might be one of the biggest landowners in the entire state of Hawaii.
Oh, Jerry Henderson.
His name is Jerry Henderson. You're exactly right.
Amazing.
That's what this man told us. And I would think he's the guy that knows.
He also owns a lot of property in South America as well.
He said he owns a lot of land in Chile at one time, and he says he's always bought when people are selling, when they've had some kind of crash, and he did that in Chile. And then he bought all this land in Hawaii when all the Japanese had overbought and ran up the prices, and then started selling, and so you got great prices. So I don't know if this is true or not, but sounds like a pretty good source. But Jerry Henderson from the great Henderson family, they've always been fantastic businessmen and entrepreneurs, and apparently that's still.
I think Charles Henderson, the governor, was on the Troy Bank and Trust Company side of things, and then Augustus Henderson was on the F&M side of both big banks right here in Troy, Alabama. Of course, there's a lot. Some of this information is hearsay, but at the same time, it comes from pretty good, reliable sources.
I'm texting his son, Reynolds Henderson, right now to confirm this.
Well, he's obviously done. Whether it's true or not that he's the largest landowner, I bet he's a big landowner.
No question about it. And I think a lot of the land that he's owned over there was pineapple land. Pineapple, that's where he comes from. Pretty much is from Hawaii. But course, we appreciate all of our sponsors, Wise Office Supply, located on South Frontage Street in Troy and Noble Manor for assisted living. No better place than Noble Manor. Call them today at 808-1325. And Wiley Sanders Truck Line at 1 Sanders Road, Troy, Alabama. Call them at 566-5184 if you want a career driving a Wiley Sanders truck, and it's a beauty. Guys,
that's one of my biggest regrets in life, Dad, that we were not team drivers for Wally Sanders Truck Lines. We could have driven a big 18-wheeler and seen the whole country together, man.
I might be able to do it now since they're coming out with they've got automatic transmissions for.
Yeah, I've got to have them.
Automatic transmission. Yeah. I mean, back in one of those trucks is easy already. So now you got an automatic transmission. No problem.
Hey, I don't know where you get easy. I don't know if I can back up.
I can do it. It would take me a year of practice to be able to do it.
But I'll tell you one thing about it. Automatic transmission is going to make it where you're going to have all kinds of folks getting into the truck driving business because it's lucrative. These guys are making very good income driving a truck for Wiley Sanders Truck Line.
Well,
so it's been a great day as far as Lee. I hope you can sit in with us a little bit tomorrow before you go into the Frontage Country Club. And right now,
Dad, you got 8 more minutes. We're not off yet.
No, I know that's right. We're not closing yet. But I would like to mention, Forrest Lee, you can find him at the Frontage Country Club, and you want to play golf. Forrest, what, $12 during the week and $15 on the weekend?
That's the green fees, and anytime you ride a cart, it's $10 per 9. And
how many carts do y'all have there?
18. 18 carts.
How many?
18 carts.
So if you want a cart, you better get there in a hurry then, is that right?
Well, it's usually busy around lunchtime on Thursday, Saturday, and about 1 o'clock on Sunday.
You and your playing partner, you pay $12. You split a cart, it's $10. So you're paying $17 to play golf.
No, you actually, each rider has to do the golf cart to pay for the carts.
Oh, so you got to pay $10.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Well, still a good deal.
Right. Well, one day next week, why don't we leave the show and go play 9 holes of golf? How about that? It'd be fun.
I'd love to, yeah.
I'm not working on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, y'all. Let's do it Tuesday or Wednesday of next week.
We've never played, Mike.
That'd be fun.
We'll have a television crew to follow us.
Forrest, do you still do your archery too? I know you have taught a lot of kids archery over the years.
Well, I'll say this, there's something in the works, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But I'll do it on the side. If somebody wants archery instruction, I can do it on the side. But I'm not employed as of this minute by anyone. But I can do private instruction.
That's what, $25 an hour?
Something like that. Something like that.
That's a good weapon to have now in these scary times we have. You don't need a machine gun. Just get you a good bow and arrow.
Well, archery is a lifetime sport. I mean, it's something you can do, and as you develop, you can get into hunting, bow hunting, or you can do bow fishing. But it's a very popular sport, and
no question about it.
Dove season's about to start, and I know that there's some archers out there that are great archery people. I mean, is there any chance in the world a guy could shoot a bow and arrow and kill a dove in midair?
If he luck.
Robin Hood.
Exactly.
I know you could kill one off a power line, probably.
Yeah. Of course, I mentioned the Little Caesars for the best of lunch in town or dinner in town. You can't beat Little Caesars, and it's hot and ready right here on South Frontage Street. That's the best deal around $5.38 for a large pizza. You can't beat that anywhere. And of course, they have all kinds of sizes. We were talking about buffets. I was in Hook's Barbecue yesterday. Mike, I had ribs last night for supper, and they were delicious.
Oh, wow.
And I thought about it because I know you love their ribs.
They're one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried a cinnamon roll from Dulce, which is located on the square pastry? Well, their cinnamon rolls are outstanding, and they're a great place to buy.
Yeah, if you need some cinnamon rolls, go to Dulce, and great atmosphere. Fantastic.
Want to mention B. Graves is open back up for business, and they a great place to eat. B. Graves on the square downtown Troy, and of course we appreciate them so very much, and as we do.
Mike, you enjoy old movies, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're talking about Robin Hood. I love the original Robin Hood with Errol Flynn, and his co-star was who? Maid Marian was played by who?
I don't know.
By the great Olivia de Havilland, who we all remember from Gone with the Wind. But she was also in a lot of other movies, and the original Robin Hood was a huge movie, and she was in that. But I was thinking about her because I always remember for some reason when they dedicated the Alabama Shakespeare Festival in Blunt Park, she came to that dedication. They had 2 or 3 Hollywood real stars, and Olivia de Havilland, who lived to be 104, I think.
Did she visit Troy University at one time?
Probably did.
And ladies and gentlemen, I hate to mention this, but one 3 or 4 words or lines, can you remember, were the most popular in Gone with the Wind? What was it?
Frankly, my darling, I don't give a damn.
That's right. Or was it Franklin,
Frank, my darling.
Franklin.
Yeah, that's right.
Franklin.
That was the most.
It was Frankly, my dear.
Frankly, my darling.
Yeah, and it was a big controversy. It was in the book. I've never read the book, but I'm told it was in the book, and they had to really fight hard to get the standards people to agree to let Rhett Butler say the word "damn" on the movie. That was.
I thought it was frankly, Charlotte. I don't give a damn. Was it?
No.
Frankly, my dear.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. But that's not near as powerful to me as her speech where she says, "I'll never go hungry again," which is right before the intermission. And
Wasn't that a great
she
movie?
says, "If I have to lie, steal, cheat, as God is my witness, I'll never go hungry again." And
Before we go up there,
she did every one of those things. She lied, she cheated, and she actually killed somebody, and she didn't go hungry again.
Who did she kill? I don't remember that.
She killed the Yankee soldier that was after the war that had come through Tara and was getting ready to rob her, walking up the steps, and she had the revolver that Rhett had given her, and she shot him in the face.
I can't remember that.
I have to go back and watch it.
Denbuck Insurance, did you know, has insurance on record that goes back to the 1800s? Denbuck Insurance, formerly the F&M Insurance Company, located on the square in downtown Troy, and of course Kenny Sanford and all his great staff have offices also in Enterprise and Andalusia. We appreciate them. I just thought I'd throw in a little history there. Also, K&W Plastic Recycling, we appreciate them so much. All of our good friends at Golden Boy Foods, they're hiring right now in all kinds of different positions at Golden Boy. We appreciate them very much. It's been a great show. We laid back, ladies and gentlemen, just talking about what's going on in your neck of the woods. Tomorrow we'll talk about college football and the 2 games that are going to be played this weekend. But then a whole list of high school games. It'll be a lot of fun.
Some of them
Lawrence, can you be with us?
Yeah, I'll be here in the morning.
Everybody go out and support Charles Henderson if you can, as we play our old-time rival Greenville. That would be a great victory. Good luck, Trojans.
You're exactly right. It would be a great victory. Go Trojans.
By its very nature, doing big things takes resilience and strength. You did the hard part,